The Gerald Ford just entered the Mediterranean. Here's what that looks like. Okay, so that is a one big ship that has come into the Mediterranean, and we're talking about a narrative war, but there's a very kinetic war that is about to happen. Let's watch an Israeli news report. Actually, let's watch an Israeli news report from Channel 11 about what's happening in Iran and the preparations for war here in the Middle East. Let's take a watch.
המוסדות להשכלה גבוהה בטהרן הפכו היום שוב מוקד של התפרצות מחאה. בשריף ואמיר כביר הגיעו הסטודנטים בבגדים שחורים בניסיון להפוך את פתיחת הסמסטר למפגן כוח נגד המשטר.
Okay, so let's just understand what we're seeing here. We're watching Iranian students loudly, violently, wearing all black and standing up to the regime. Now, just understand what we're talking about. We're talking about their brothers and sisters. 50,000, 60,000. I don't know. Some number were murdered in the streets. This standing in protest, although it's in large groups, it doesn't mean that you're going to be safe. So there's courage that's happening here. And they're calling death to the dictator, death to the regime. That's what's happening in Iran right now.
באיראן מציינים בימים אלה 40 ימי אבל לנרצחי המחאות.
40 days, they're commemorating 40 days since the great bloodletting in the streets of Iran.
משפחות חוזרות אל בתי העלמין למפגן של זעם במסווה של חגיגה, הילולת מחאה לזכר אלה שלא ישובו עוד.
They're using the 40 days, the mourning period, as also a protest. So they're wearing black, and there's it's not just mourning, it's actually a protest movement.
مثل این تورش زیاد ما داریم حالا این پسر منه نه پسر شما هست این پسر ایران زمینه.
Okay, my child is actually a child of Iran, and basically the regime murdered him.
32,000 people were killed over a relatively short period of time.
Wow. So that's Trump saying 32,000. So that's like official numbers, but who knows what the real number is.
They were going to hang 800 2 weeks ago. Hang. And I gave them the word, if you hang one person, even one person, that you're going to be hit right then and there. I wasn't waiting 2 weeks and negotiating. And they gave up the hanging. They didn't hang 837.
Yeah, but they killed 36,000, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. It's like they didn't hang him. Yeah. No, but they shot the people in the streets.
Yeah, they didn't hang them. And also Donald, with all due respect, came and told the Iranians, go to the streets, take names, help us on the way. And I feel that was in some way a bit misleading, because they were thinking, okay, if we come up now, because remember, on the 12-day war, when Israel went and did the miraculous, operation there, the Iranians, they were shocked. They didn't like, whoa. And there was a lot of feeling of missing there. Like, if we would have went to the street then, maybe we would have been able to take down that regime. So now, and sorry, was I?
Yeah, we lost you for a second.
All right.
Then we got you back. Go ahead, say it again.
So exactly. So remember, on the 12-day war, when the Mossad and the IDF did what they did, the Iranian people had this like feeling of miss, because they didn't run to the streets, and they kept thinking, if we would have went to the streets and would have fought for it, maybe would have taken our country back from that wicked Islamic regime. So now comes rounds 2, and they hear Donald Trump saying, not only Israel, now is America. We are with you. Go out, take names. So they felt like, okay, we can't do the same mistake like last time. We need to go. And they went in thousands of numbers, but then it started getting dragged. And now you're having just thousands of people being killed. But what's admirable is seeing that they're still going. These are people, you need to understand, these wicked regimes like the Islamic Republic of Iran, Hezbollah, and all these, other regimes, they don't work, first of all, to defend their citizens from other threats. Their first military focus is, how can we oppress our people and protect the government from their own people? So they're very good at killing their own people. Only when they establish that, now they're safe from the people who might revolt to come and take them down because they're oppressing them, only then they start focusing outwards. So they're very good at killing their own people. So
That's right.
the people in Iran are extreme. They don't have guns. They're not like in America where people can have guns. People can protect themselves. They have nothing. They're literally going in the streets and they're dying in the most horrific way. And if there was ever a cause that the West should rally behind, Yishai, that would be that. You can still be an anti-Semite and hate the Jews, hate Israel, but stand with Iranians. They're not Semite. They're not Jews. You can still stand with them. So come on, guys. You hate us. Okay, hate us, but at least stand with them. But it's unbelievable.
Right. Well, one of the things that people understand is that somehow, if you support the Iranian people, you're really supporting the fall of the Iranian regime, and the fall of the Iranian regime means you're means you're causing the fall of Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and that Israel is going to prosper. Sometimes I think to myself that one of the reasons that so many of the Arab countries are telling Trump not to strike Iran because they make the calculation that in the end of this, Israel will be stronger, and I don't want Israel to be stronger. That bothers me. And so, I rather, that we face, because don't forget, these other Arab countries also face the scourge of Iran.
And also, Yishai, they're afraid. That's the thing that makes the Muslims in the world fear the most, and people miss that all the time. They're afraid of losing land that is under Islam. Doesn't matter if it's Shia or Sunni right now. And they're seeing that the Iranian people are secular. They want to kick away Islam. So in their head, the outcome here will mean that the Islamic Ummah, will have less land that have Sharia law implemented on it. Same thing with Syria. They were afraid that the Druze will get autonomy, the Christians and others. That means that a land that is under Sharia, the oppression of Sharia, will not be anymore. Same thing with Palestine. Saudi Arabia was all against Palestine. All of a sudden, Donald Trump comes and says, let's buy it. Like, whoa, no. So all of a sudden, they're pro-Palestine because, again, Muslims losing their grip over land. And it's always been the game. They want to conquer the world, and they're not willing to give a piece of land to the Christians or the Jews because that's a big, big loss to their Prophet Muhammad and etc. But I want to ask you a question, Isha. Actually, that's something that I haven't had an answer for. Let's say now we topple the Iranian regime, which I think Israel wants that, America wants that. It's a great thing. But could the Iranian people actually make a better country for themselves? I mean, the Iranian regime now, it's not like there's like 30 really evil people and the rest, like, it's using their own people. So they have a lot of pro-Iranian regime people there. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're capable of actually taking that country and making it better, or is it going to become chaos and mayhem?
I don't know enough about the makeup of Iran. I've never really been there. I've spoken to a lot of people. Some people experts tell me that it's like 30% are anti-regime, 30% are pro-regime, and 30% want an Islamic state, but that is not as radical and not as harsh, but still want to. That's what I heard from one source. When I had guests on saying that the Iranian people still want some kind of Islamic country, I had lots of Iranian people writing to me saying, you don't know anything, and we want liberty and freedom. I also see that they have this Reza Pahlavi who seems like an amazing person, really, who there a lot of people are backing. So I don't really know the answer. Like it's a little, you know what I mean? Like Iran is has a lot of different peoples in it, different ethnicities. It is on the one hand an ancient country, on the other hand it's got all these other peoples like Azeris and other people that are there, and so it's one of these things where if you ask me about Israel, you ask me about the Arabs in my region, I know a lot about it because I've seen it, I felt it. I feel in general that it's very hard to talk about a country until you're there, until you've seen it for yourself. And the only thing that I've seen is the show Tehran, and I've also been to Los Angeles, Tehrangeles, but like I don't know enough really to say it. But I trust that the people of Iran are smart, are ancient, and they'll find a way to have a better regime. I think that they regret the 1979 revolution, and I see those students in the streets, and I want to believe, now the one thing I think I would say to you is, let's not make the same mistake that we made in Iraq, thinking that like, let's just go in there, we'll liberate the people, and they'll just work it out magically. No, they're probably going to need some counseling, some helping. maybe some intermediate government that is forced, and then the people will start to get organized, not just to leave it to itself and into bloodletting and into chaos. So I would say that we have to make a plan. But your critique or question and critique is fair. I've heard that from other people as well, saying there doesn't seem to be a very planned out revolution there's not like a government that's waiting to come in. I would ask our friend Mearat Tusi, who came on the show, and he's an Iranian guy and he knows the stuff, just like I would ask you about Druze and what they're doing and how they're faring. By the way, how are in short, and I want to go to my next guest, but I just want to ask you, Mansour Ashkar, how are the Druze faring? You and I a few months ago were on together. They were being massacred by the Syrian regime. Syrian jihadist ISIS type regime is still there. How are your friends and family and the people that you represent doing?
So they're not doing too well. They're still under siege more than 224 days, if I'm not mistaken. Under siege, cannot leave the mountain. If they go out, they get picked, shot, kidnapped, and murdered. And not only them, but also all the other minorities. As we're speaking, if people haven't noticed, whenever there's a big world catastrophe or event, that's when the Syrian regime chooses to focus on another ethnicity and basically cleanse them. So now the war in Iran, they went on the Kurds. When everybody's eyes on Iran, they went on the Kurds. Before they went on the Druze and the Christians. And
before that, on the Alawites.
On the Alawites, exactly. So
right.
Every minority, which was the whole idea before, to cleanse Syria from all the non-Muslims. So if you're talking about a real ethnic cleansing that is happening, it's in Syria. Now, what's concerning to most right now, the Druze and the Christians and other minorities in Syria, is seeing how all of a sudden, under the leadership of Tom Barak, America have abandoned the Kurds, which were their allies on the ground, and went and sided with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And then they went and killed the Kurds and released all the prisoners from the jails, like literally released ISIS prisoners with Syrian soldiers wearing ISIS patches, and did that with the support of America, because Tom Barak went in with a clear statement, even, we are now with these guys, they're helping us fight ISIS, but they're not. So the people in Syria are seeing that and they're terrified, because they're thinking like, wow, next round is going to come again. And it looks like they managed to actually fool the Americans to believe that ISIS and Al-Qaeda are the good guys and anyone who's fighting them is the bad guys, which is something unheard of. And the average American doesn't even know about that. Here, you want to hear a crazy conspiracy one? That's a good one, actually. So Kurdish soldiers who are fighting with America to defeat ISIS, who are backed up and trained by the US, and they received US equipment that had a dead man switch in it, which means if it ever falls into the hands of ISIS, America had the power to stop that equipment from working, from rocket launchers all the way to armored vehicles and etc. Some Kurdish reports are saying that these weapons and technology stopped working when ISIS and Al-Qaeda came to attack them, because the Kurds were the strongest army in Syria, the strongest, and they were taken down in 2 days. Unbelievable, like completely. So some of them are saying, did America shut the switch on us? What happened here? Or the Turks got permission from the Americans, tell them, listen, shut the switch, we're going to go fight ISIS. So they sold them this kind of lie. And America said, okay, Tom Barak convinced the US, listen, guys. And Tom Barak is very, very invested. I call Tom Barak the Arab Epstein of the Arab world. If you see the level of corruption that he is in it when it comes to Arab elites in the Middle East is insane. He was investigated by the DOJ for that exactly, for being an agent for these countries. And he was also on the Epstein file. And he's right now leading this thing that is devastating, catastrophic for Israel, for the Middle East, for all the minorities, which is empowering Turkey and the jihad in Syria to come and be the strong force that takes Syria and bring again an October 7th threat into our borders. They also want to put them in Gaza.
Mansour, I'm going to ask you to send me some more information, videos or articles on this. I need to know more about this. I feel like I don't know enough about it, and I'm going to read about it and then have you on again to discuss what's really going on. I don't like to be, outside of the know, and I don't know everything you're talking about. And you know what? Again, it's this moment where I say Israel has a chance to empower the Druze, empower the Kurds, empower others, make them part of the satellites, arm them, train them, give them independence, and help create a kind of puzzle of the Middle East of anti-jihad. pro-liberty, pro-peace folks that are united in a kind of belt that pushes back on jihadism. That's not what's happening. That's
No.
not what we're seeing. Mansour, I want to thank you so much for being with us. You're an Israeli Druze, a father, former IDF Special Forces officer. You live abroad. You're a YouTuber, and you're out in Oregon shooting guns with friends. I hope you enjoy the time there, and wish you lots of blessings. Thank you so much for coming on such short notice. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Shad. The pleasure is mine.